angry, masculine women dominate modern Western relationships. It's a fucking epidemic in itself. And when we start to look at this and we take that step back, we can really see the problem that it's causing. Women stepping up and filling in this masculine void, dominating and have to take control and charge in most situations, competing with men and in many instances outperforming men in the corporate and business environment. They're doing a fucking good job. And why is that? Because the power of polarity is at play. What does that mean? It means that in order for excessively masculine women to be dominating in these arenas, there needs to be weak, passive men joining them. That probably makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? To know that the reason that women have had to step into their masculine more so than they would desire is because men have stepped out of it. The weak, passive, avoiding conflict, go with the flow, standing for nothing, trying to please everybody mentality that the majority of men in modern Western relationships have taken is forcing this to occur. Because the masculine is the protector, the masculine is the provider, and this includes emotional stability and security. This includes the growth of the relationship. This includes all of the invisible stuff that we cannot actually see. So when we stop for a moment and we realise that the north side of a magnet does not attract the north side of a magnet, there has to be polarity at play. Think about the corporate environment. Two really dominant masculine energies coming to meet each other in the middle causes some friction. Neither one wants to back down, neither one wants to not be leading. Each individual wants to get their point across and wants to be seen as the authority figure. They want to be seen as credible and have a high level of power and status. If that energy is present in both, then there's very little connection because it's repelling, it's a competition. And so the only reason that women have become more masculine, become more dominating, more controlling, is because men have stepped back. Men are weaker. They don't stand for anything. They don't have firm opinions. They're quite happy to be manipulated and walked all over. No boundaries. And this is why we are where we are. One of these facets and components will be playing out more in your relationship dynamic. And it's your duty as a man to find out which one it fucking is. Because if you want your wife to be more feminine, then you have to be more masculine. And in order for you to be more masculine, you need to balance out your own feminine. Because if you're overly submissive, overly passive, overly sensitive, always avoiding conflict, then you are at one end of a balanced spectrum that is now tipping in the far direction. It's like sitting on a seesaw with just yourself. There's no counterbalance. It's not fun. You're virtually sat on the floor on your own. No enjoyment can come from that. And this is a tough pill to swallow. I remember reflecting on why my relationship crumbled so rapidly. It was a compounding impact. I avoided conflict. I shut conversations down before we'd even attempted to have them. I would not entertain my wife's emotions. I wanted her to behave the way I wanted her to behave, otherwise I wouldn't deal with it. There was all of these non-confrontational mentalities and behaviours that I would display. My mentality was, well, if I keep the peace and I keep the silence, everything will be good. And I could not have been further from the truth. My weakness was causing my wife to become more independent, to become stronger in herself, and ultimately behave in a more masculine way. Because I wasn't. I was not doing it. The simple things, letting her plan everything, letting her take control of the kids, making her provide all the provisions. By making her do it all and me trying to avoid conflict, I was forcing her to be the masculine one between us. My weakness was forcing her to become strong. And it wasn't until I sat with this and really started to think about why was I doing it. It was because I didn't trust myself to do it. I didn't believe I was capable. I didn't believe I was adequate enough as a man to be able to. And you want to go a level deeper than that, is because I saw my parents, and more specifically my mum, as my saviour. She was always a lifeline for me to call on when I needed her. And as a fully grown married man with kids, that's not very empowering for your wife, for her to feel that your mum is your saviour. Because that made me look at my wife in the same light. Oh, she's strong, she can take care of it. She's got this, she's independent, I can leave it to her. I was forcing her to behave like my mum. Because as a mother, you have to be strong for your children. And all the while your children need you, you will be there for them. And so I'd become a weak, passive, somewhat non-confrontational, unless I was being passive-aggressive, man. It's not attractive. It's not inspirational. It's not getting the best out of your fucking relationship. Quite the opposite. It's destroying it. It's pulling it apart. It's making it unbearable for everybody. This is a tough fucking pill to swallow, gents. It's a tough pill to swallow to know that masculinity was attacked so severely in men that our day-to-day behaviour on an unconscious and subconscious and unconscious level forces our wife to fulfill the role that we need to. We are forcing our wife to be the man in the relationship, whether we like it or not, because we are forcing her to be more masculine. We are forcing her to be the one that ultimately takes charge. So we want women to stop being overly masculine in the relationship, then we have to balance ourselves out. We have to step back up so they can relax and step back. They can lean into their femininity, they can lean into their softness, they can lean into their radiance when we provide the strength and the structure. It's on us. We have to lead the change if we want to experience it. You want your wife to stop being so masculine? And stop being so feminine yourself.